I'm Tim Hooper.
And I'm Mike Gandolfo.
And this is The Trust Factor,
where high touch
plus high tech
multiplied by high trust
equals the real estate professional's formula for success.
All right, guys, welcome back. This is The Trust Factor, and
Yes.
I am super excited for what we're going to talk about today, Tim.
You should be, man. I mean, it's...
You know how we talk about the show being
changing your
authentic?
life.
We don't
Yeah.
know if this episode is going to be one episode. I mean, it could be 3 episodes. We don't really know, because once we get going on this topic, I think it could be massive. But
Yeah.
what we're going to share today is probably some of the most valuable information that we could give right now to people about, how you build out your high touch, high tech, multiplied by high trust system, right?
Yep.
So, and I'll tell you why how this topic kind of came around. One of my buds, I got my board of trustees. We call ourselves the Commonwealth Club because we're all in Commonwealth states. Was talking about, he's like, hey, have you all seen Cloud Cowork? Like, if you Cloud Cowork's the next, or not, Cloud Cowork's the next big thing. Like, you gotta, his exact quote is, "Hey guys, Cloud Cowork is a game changer. I think we should explore using tools like this as a group." Blah blah blah. So, someone literally replaced a $50,000 position using this. It's brand new and powerful. So we're in this world of AI right now, Tim, and I'm going to let you talk a little bit about where we are as far as AI comes in. But AI still in its infancy. New tools, new uses, new consumer things are going to be rolling out constantly. But we've kind of gone into what I would say the agentic phase with AI, right? And so now we're seeing these agentic tools. So if you don't mind, give me your little take on that as someone who's training on this stuff all the time.
Yeah, that's great. I usually start a training with, of course, sharing the risks, sharing the hallucinations, sharing my basic rule of thumb is, Reagan said, trust but verify with AI. Don't trust and verify, right? Mm-hmm. So it's like just having that mindset of, it's a new, like you said, it's in its infancy. It's a new technology. So I start by saying, let's think about that as our modus operandi, but then let's, like Stephen Covey says, begin with the end in mind. And so for the last 2 years, like, what's the end in mind? AI today is roughly where the internet was like the mid 1990s. So where I go with that is, I just look at the audience and said, if you don't believe me, you could just write this down in your notebook and then, like, in a year, see if we're getting any closer to this. And it's not even a year, it's like a month or 2, but I always have them write down that if it can be done on a browser, it will be done by AI. So just, if it can be done by a browser, it will be done by AI. So Mike, this morning, so case in point, you logged into StreamYard, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you logged into StreamYard. And then when you logged into StreamYard, you emailed me a link to join, correct?
Correct.
So then I logged into my computer, and then I went to my inbox, opened that, and then I clicked the link, which opened a browser, and then I was in this. I had to click a button to get in. There's like 6 different link clicks, sends between us. So what is that called? If I was sitting in your office, would that have happened? Would that have had to have happened?
No,
not at all. So what that's called is separation, and you're establishing a connection. That's it. So think about it this way. Every browser you open is establishing a connection to something or someone that, if you go thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of years ago, now, whether you're older, newer, it doesn't matter. It's this mindset still works. We used to be in tribes, personal. If I needed something from you, I needed some eggs. I came over, gave you some sugar. You gave me some eggs, whatever. Did they have sugar back then? I don't know. Probably some honey, some milk and honey. I don't know. But we didn't have, we just had connection. We were in tribes. So all technology is, and I tell people this, AI, people are so scared. Oh, it can open up a browser and do something. Like, well, why wouldn't it? Or why wouldn't you want it to? Like, why are you opening a browser and doing something? It's like, Manus we've talked about is like the new Canva. I literally just showed a real estate agent group yesterday how you could take and prompt it with your voice and have a flyer spit out in 5 minutes. And the marketing lady came up afterwards and she says, can you not show Manus anymore, please?
She's worried about her job, huh?
Correct.
Yeah.
And I looked at her. I said, what's your name? She told me her name. I said, can I share a secret? She said, sure. I said, I've been coaching real estate agents for a long time. I said, what real estate agents will tell you, they'll admit this, what they need. They don't need a mark. They don't need somebody to create a flyer for them as much as they need somebody to get on the phone, teach them how to go push that out to their people, how to go talk about it, what kind of captions on social media with that flyer, like the communication, the execution behind it. That's what's needed. And she started right there that moment, Mike, rethinking her job. I'm like, right now, you're behind a screen, they're behind a screen. This cool flyer spits out 5 hours later, and nobody, like, it doesn't go out to the masses. We spend so much time behind a browser. We're not spending time like boom, boom, boom in front of each other. So it's like the power of AI, where AI is going, guys. Agentic AI, if it can be done in a browser, it will be done by AI. So like start letting some holy indignation happen when you get stuck behind Canva for 2 hours, or banging out an email response to somebody, to a negative email for 30 minutes, and you're backspacing, then starting over the back. Oh, they're going to be so upset. How about this? Let AI write the email, tweak it just a little bit, send it, get that done in 30 seconds. But in the bottom of the email, you put your heart in there that AI can never do. And you say, please read this, or at the top, please read this, and I'll be calling you in 10 minutes. Send the email, and then set Siri a timer for Siri and call them in 10 minutes. Let the email be the seed, and in your heart that AI can never be the watering can and the love. So that's where, in my agentic AI, that's not your technical explanation, but I hopefully the story helps people understand. Agentic AI is anything you're going to go open up and do on a computer, AI is going to do for you. So back to Claude workflow. That's going to change your life. or Claude,
co-work is what it's
not
called.
Workflow. Claude co-work, which I've not looked at yet. So Mike, you're going to educate me a little bit today.
Well, and I don't know how much I know about Claude co-work besides what I've researched. And the thing that I'm finding that's really interesting is that all these agents, even the agents themselves, serve different purposes, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like Manus, like you just said, which I'm a big believer in, and I actually think when you say it's the new Canva, I think you're selling it short.
Way short.
Way short.
I'm just trying to get people at Canva.
I understand.
Guy Kawasaki.
Yeah. Where Claude Pro work, so Manus is cloud-based, and it's doing all these things outside of your computer, where Claude co-work is more about what happens for an individual on an individual machine. So like, for example, when my guy said, hey, we should look at how we use this together as a team, Claude co-work, by its nature, is not designed that way. It's not cloud-based at all. It's machine-based. So to me, that limits it in a certain way. And really, what for me, I realize I'm paying for this. I'm paying for Google Workspace, which, from day one, our company email has been Google based and whatever else, and that's grown. That gives us, Gemini Pro and Notebook Pro and Notebook LM, which again I love. I think it's phenomenal. I pay for Perplexity Pro, and I pay for Manus 1.6. By the way, I'm up to 12,000 credits a month is what I'm using right now but I'm doing some heavy build things right now, and eventually I think I'll be able to take some of those credits away but I'm building with Manus, man. I built out this whole thing because with Requity, we're going to start being if you're not a Requity user and you're a real estate agent, by the way, Requity's going to start being a lead source for you. And when I say a lead source, the lead's going to be warmed up and you're going to get a relational roadmap on how to serve the lead, and the lead and the person's going to be expecting and wanting your call. Imagine that.
I love it.
So
I love your mindset behind Requity, guys. You got to check it out.
Requity. So what we built
Can
on
you put it in the show notes?
Oh yeah. Requity should probably live in the show notes, I guess. But
it really should.
Manus, what I built on Manus is like, okay, we know we're going to be sending out all these referrals, but we got to be able to have a portal on how to track these referrals. I built out an entire system where the agent logs in, tells me, they set up their profile, they display on a map, so I know exactly visually where everyone is, and then we can assign them a referral. It'll automate the follow up on the referral, and then we'll track the referral fees.
Dude,
that's an employee. That is an employee.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, the only thing that it could probably still do that I'm not letting it do is actually assign the referral without me.
Yeah.
Right. And honestly, with the relational roadmap in the agent profile, we have enough information to do that.
Yeah.
And we probably will at some point.
Yeah. So I know we're asking the question. We're talking about agentic AI. So everyone listening, just catching up. Agentic AI. Agentic AI. Mike just described something that is literally going out, opening up browsers, creating stuff, creating your, if you're spending time in jot form anymore,
sending emails.
Like, why are you? Sending emails. Andrew actually just texted me. So my brother, he trains on AI, and we'll have him on the monthly live TMS. So guys, don't miss our third Thursdays at 10 a.m. For our TMS call. And that's we already have a live. Go check it out. Or several lives, but every third Thursday of the month. So get subscribed so you get those notifications. But Andrew, he just texted me yesterday. He said, bro, even like in Copilot, he said, bro, Copilot now in the Outlook environment, Copilot is doing a really good job sussing through all the, like reading an entire email thread and giving you a really good prompt and response. So even and we have been very slow to the AI integration piece, being a Fortune 500 publicly traded company. So we are like, our CTO is incredible, by the way, but they have been very intentional and very thoughtful in how they roll this out. And we're now seeing some of the huge benefits of it. Of course, there's all the training that goes along with that, because there's so much of a default mentality of this is how I've always done it. So it's like getting it trained, getting it plugged up so that people are like used to what this is and how to use it. But it's thorough. That is this is becoming agentic. Now that's still internal in our system, vetted, locked down, but very useful in our system. So it's not opening up browsers there, but it's becoming very sophisticated where it can go deploy through or do a lot of functionality where, again, a lot of emails coming back and forth. We learned how to live with that, but that's not even normal. That's not even human. Like, one person could put 30 people on a thread and then hit go, and then your life just got complicated and busy. You know what I mean? It's just not human. So to leverage the technology against technology there is powerful, so long as you're always at that tip of the spear. So here would be my next question, Mike, for everybody. Where are your tip of the spear moments? Like, tip of the spear meaning where it's the thing you and only you can do. Where are those tip of the spear moments? If you get clear on those and realize that, by the way, that's where you get the most passionate. That's where you make the most money. That's where your role becomes even more important to your establishment, your company. Like that's, I think, what gets me is so many people have gotten so comfortable behind technology that we're not even hungry for human connection and for going out and creating, and you know what I mean? So that'd be the next question I would ask. But anyway, so go back. So agentic AI. So you literally creating this whole Requity system. It's warm leads. It's sussing through, organizing, giving you a dashboard. So now you just log in one time and you're executing.
Yeah, we can execute. We can know exactly where we're at, where all the things are. what's getting ready to close, all those kind of things. We'll have an idea, and I want to do it in a way that's not overly obnoxious to the referral agent. Like, we have great referral agents for a reason. We don't need to babysit them. That's my biggest complaint about like relocation companies. But we also need to have some just basic updating of where they're at, so in the process, and we make sure we don't get forgotten about with that referral fee. So
that's
all right. So let's just take a quick step back, because here's what I know about our listener. And I think what you just said about the CTO at Fidelity was ginormous, just because like a new product is released, and it is natural, especially in the real estate industry, to have shiny object syndrome, right? And I know when I first subscribed to Perplexity, I was like, man, I don't know. Like, well, if I put down and I think people, when you're buying a house, do this. Like, if I buy this house now, it's like, well, what happens if the next one comes by at the really good price, So, if I buy Perplexity at $20 a month right now, or do I really want to commit to a year and get the savings? Because what's the next one? And at the end of the day, I think like you got to have some sort of idea, some sort of framework of being able to choose your AI tech stack, so what you're going to do. So I got right here for you, I think 3 roles, and then maybe an optional role for someone who's a little bit more advanced. But 3 roles. So don't think about it in terms of like, oh, I need ChatGPT, I need Claude Cowork, I need Manus, I need Gemini, whatever else.
I need everything. Yeah.
Think of it in terms of, I need these 3 roles to be filled. I need a daily office assistant inside your emails and documents. I need a builder that can create systems and tools. And I need a research strategist that can dig and synthesize. And if you think that those are and now what you're doing, you're basically creating job descriptions, and now you're hiring a AI product to fill that job description.
All right, can you say those 3 things one more time?
Yes. A daily office assistant who's managing emails and documents, a builder that can create systems and tools, and a research strategist that can dig and synthesize information.
Okay, so I think the middle one is where most of us are living right now. When I get around and talk to a bunch of real estate agents, I feel like the middle one, the builder, like, hey, build me a listing, build me a pretty flyer, build me, like, we're going building. We're not even using that deep enough, really, because the building has so much more. Like, you don't even have to go to Jotform anymore. You can literally go create your own survey in seconds through Manus. So like, builder is correct, or in Perplexity. I mean, so I want to drill down a little bit on each of those 3, and then we're going to jump more into like Perplexity. So when you say email and documents, unpack that a little bit, because I don't think a lot of folks are. Yeah, how are you using that, Mike?
Well, poorly. I think people have got to realize this. Like, we're trying to figure this out as we go, but all we're doing is trying to give you some sort of framework to be able to do this.
Yes.
But to me, Google changed. Google gives you the whole ecosystem, right? The calendar, the email, whatever else. And by the way, I can connect all those tools. I can connect my Google Drive, my calendar, all that stuff. I can connect to Manus. Neither here nor there. I just wanted to make sure that as we go down, you can see when I'm building systems and tools and stuff like that, how that impacts things. But Gemini now has basically gone agentic without even telling their users that they went agentic, and they've put Gemini into email, into docs, into calendar. And then when I first started using Gemini, things didn't talk to each other, and now they do. Right now, I can go into Gemini and say, hey, give me a rundown of the emails that are unread, and what do I need to respond to? What needs a response? I can go through and I can look at how I can put that on the basis of a structure of a document and have it clean it up and fix it and all stuff. And they'll also interact between Google Drive, Google Calendar, Gmail, all those things will interact. So, you know, and where I see the benefit for me the most is actually lots of times using Google Forms into Google Sheets, using that to then analyze information. Whether I'm using, like I'm using Google Sheets right now, and a lot of times when I'm working with a coaching client, and they're like, "Oh, you're using a spreadsheet. That's really innovative." Well, it is when it's backed by Gemini, you know.
Right. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and then it can give me like, then I can go into Google Docs and ask for, and it can take my meeting notes because it recorded my Google Meet, and then it'll take my meeting notes. It'll look at the spreadsheet and it'll give me some sort of recommendations based on making sure that what we need to cover on the next call.
So what you're telling me there is, and this kind of goes back to what Andrew was saying about the email, is I could have, truly think about it, I could have an AI be reading emails threads, stay on the thread as it builds. If multiple people are replying to it, it's there, it's reading it. When I get to a time block in my day to go answer emails, I could have AI have drafted up responses to everything in my inbox.
Sure.
It gives me a summary rundown. Here's your draft email. And I can look at the summary. I could look at the draft email. I could tweak it a little bit, hit send. So I could go into my inbox and just execute very quickly, as if there was an assistant right there, a human assistant telling me, here's what this is, here's what this is, and I just can execute. That's what email and inbox execution and cleanup can. And then if something needs to be turned into a document, or I need to summarize, there's this long, I could be like, yep, do that. But then I could go turn right around and like build something into a document, or I want a document out of this. Like,
yeah. Oh yeah. I actually, I'm trying to remember what I was doing, but I was getting a whole bunch of data coming in and whatever else. And I just said, okay, let's synthesize this into a document and into a workflow. And then it planed it all out.
Where do you insert that prompt? Where is that in the email workflow? Are you copy pasting out of email, plop it in, and say synthesize, or?
Well, when you're in Gmail,
yep,
you have the little Gemini logo that'll pull up on the side.
Correct.
And I'm doing most of this on desktop. I just want to be very clear on that too.
Right.
Because right now I think that's another limitation with how the AI tools work. They take up so much screen space that they're trying to figure out how to work on the mobile devices. So I'll pull up Gemini on the side, and then I'll say, you know, create a doc, you know, whatever else, and then boom, it'll open it up in Google Docs, and there we are.
Okay.
So, and it was actually frustrating when I started using Gemini Pro, because it seemed like they was putting up more walls and less doors, and now they're starting to open up a lot of doors.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
One other, I know this is super technical, but I think this is super powerful. So if I'm in Gmail and I've got,
now you're gonna make me pull Gmail to make sure.
And I'm working on like, well, I mean, some of this is a little some of this is just what I've seen AI do, Mike. Some of it is just kind of painting a picture of where we're going. I really believe this is where we're going. But if I'm working on a home closing for like next month, and I've got like an EMD
really specific. I don't know.
I've got an EMD going, and I've got like the inspection report going. I've got like 10 different threads all around a house, right? I could go in there and prompt Gemini and be like, hey, anything having to do with, you know, 123 Main Street.
Yep.
And any lines of communication, research my inbox and synthesize this into one quick executive summary where we're at. So that's the power. That's what's happening. So,
yeah. Like I needed to find an IRS document. And I was able to do it that exact way recently. So, and it is powerful. And I think the one thing that you definitely want to guard against is like, yes, it can draft emails, but you don't want to necessarily respond to emails that you don't know were received. Like you don't want to be the bottleneck, but you don't want to be ignorant to what happened either.
So that's where the tip of the spear, guys. I'm telling you, if you lose this is where the trust factor matters. If you lose your tip of the spear moment, you will become a commodity.
Absolutely.
Because what AI is going to allow us to do is at the tip of the spear moment, let it summarize the email for you. But tip of the spear is where you hit send, where you click the button send, because now you are making these words that AI generated, you're making those land in someone else's, probably someone else's AI to respond to your AI. But but what's going to happen is you're putting those words into someone else's mind, brain, and heart. So what can you do that's going to rehumanize at that tip of the spear moment? That's where I believe, Mike, the people who will leverage the, hey, take a look, but look, I'll call you in 5. Any negative, anything that has remotely a negative charge in the new age will absolutely require a phone call for trust to continue to go through the roof. Like, you know what I mean? A lot of people are going to delegate the negative stuff to AI, and the response is going to go out. Number one, the email is going to be way too long because AI is like fluffing and bluff. Yeah. And so don't lose your tip of the spear moment. That's what I'm saying.
So again, kind of going back to that daily office assistant, I'm using Google Workspace. It's kind of what we were already paying for. And it's going to handle it's going to live where my communication and my paperworks already are. It's going to handle the drafting, summarizing, follow-ups, and simple automations. That's pretty much what we're trying to work with. Now, eventually, kind of like what you just said, and getting these products to work together, and there's going to be just some overlap of how they interact with each other. I do foresee us almost replacing the role of a transaction coordinator because of how it's going to be able to handle all the details. I haven't figured that out completely. I'm sure there are other people that are smarter than that have done that. My wife, I think, just thinks I sit in my office and do nothing, but I'm working on these complex problems so that as we're trying to scale the brokerage, because if people don't know, like I'm trying to, we talk 10x is easier than 2x. This whole thing for me started out as we kind of wanted to 10x the brokerage when we made the goal. And so that's what we're working on. And so a lot of the tools that I'm working on with AI is how do I do that with having to bring on a minimal amount of staff and still be very efficient with our workflows. Everything we're doing that we're saying, hey, does it work for the size we're at now? Will it work when we're at this, the 10x size of where we want to be?
That's a great question right there. And I know there's so much philosophy and practicality flowing together right now. Will this be viable for where I want to be in 3 years? Does this, when I'm there, does this help me with, like, begin with the end in mind as you build out your system? So, all right, we have the email, the docs, the builder. Let's dig into the builder just a little bit. So some of the things
we're 27
building,
minutes. So
all right. So what if we dig on the other side? Because we've talked about builder, Jot form, Canva, flyers. That's kind of the builder. Let's go to the other side, synthesizing. What was the other thing you said? Research and synthesizing?
The research strategist. And this is why
the research
when everyone else was going ChatGPT, this is why I chose Perplexity. Because at the time, I was working on a book project. I was building out some training stuff. I needed really, really solid research. And Perplexity Pro gives you GPT 5.4. I get Sonar. I actually get Gemini 3.1. I get Claude Sonnet. I don't. If you get the Max product, you get Claude Opus 4.6. I think these Max things where they're charging $200 a month or whatever are going to be going away pretty soon, because how do you justify doing that when you can go to something like Manus or Claude Cowork and it's still pretty affordable? Right. It's like anything else with technology, though, right? Like I remember the first convertible IBM ThinkPad I had that weighed 85 pounds, but I could rotate the screen and lay down and write on it. Was like $3,500, and now it'd be like $800. But it's got another one that I don't even really familiar with. Are you familiar with Kimi K2.5? It's hosted in the United States.
No.
So anyway, Manus will choose whichever one of these models is best for me. But it's the deep research in Manus. I mean, this is what they hang their hat on.
Oh, is it Manus or Perplexity?
I'm sorry, Perplexity.
Okay.
Do not mean it. The deep research in Perplexity.
Yes. Yep.
Is just it's an insanely strong tool. So,
and I've not checked out Perplexity. I'll be frank. I've not checked out Perplexity. You mentioned it multiple times. I was always a chat GPTer and then moved into, and I test the other ones, right? I usually put the prompt every now and then in another one, see what kind of, and it's like, oh, that one actually looked a little different. Manus came along, I was like, it took a lot off my plate. I mean, website refreshes, flyers, and I was like, that's powerful. So Perplexity now, Comet AI, the browser, that's Perplexity's browser, correct?
Correct. Yep.
So so when Comet is open, I've heard when Comet's open and you have different browsers pulled up in Comet, it basically connects across anything you have pulled up in the browser. Is that correct?
I've been slow. I do have Comet. I have used it a little bit, but I've been slow to integrate Comet. I think I'm so used to just working in Google Chrome, and that's still because works with one of my AI things with Gemini.
Yep.
But from what I understand, Comet is insanely powerful for what it can do, and Comet can also connect with my Google Calendar, my Gmail, and all that other kind of stuff too. So it's
so that's what I heard somebody explain.
We need to do a show on that, actually.
Yeah, and we might part 2 might be us just going a little deeper on all of this, but I'll just end with I'll end my piece and turn this back over to you, Mike, to wrap us up. But what I heard, and this is something again to keep in mind, I'm trying to out of all of this pull out kind of the concept so that, because I know there's so many folks we talk to, they're like, all right, I'm 50 years old, I've been in real estate a long time, I'm kind of stuck in my ways, but I know I need to adapt. So we're not necessarily, I know there's some people who are just signal people. It's like, you hear it, you're going to go do it. Then you got the people who are kind of like, you're like, okay, I need to take action, but I'm probably not for. So here's how to think about this. I believe Comet, somebody described to me, the Comet browser, it's an AI browser. It's like, it was really the first AI browser by Perplexity. So Perplexity is already this deep engine that Mike talked about that will go out to all the different AI brains. And by the way, all those programs like Gemini, Claude, ChatGPT, those are all like beehives attached to the new computer system, the neural network of AI. So it's not like, oh, they're all, what's AI? These are all AIs. No, these are all models that tie to one big brain called AI. That's what the new computer is, AI. So all these brains, Comet or Perplexity is saying, which brain do I need? It's like, it's going to say, which brain do I need for this function? Correct. Well, then Comet is built Comet's built by Perplexity. Comet's the first browser that somebody told me is like Zapier. So where you had to go build there's a Zap for that. So I need to connect this thing to that thing. Somebody said Comet, the browser Comet is like Zapier for all your browsers pulled up. So that's just the way to think about it. So as you are thinking about how do I build this assistant, this builder, this researcher, think about which tool that employee would need.
And that's really interesting too, because like there's certain things that I know that have not integrated that we use as tools in our office. Like we use Basecamp, which is like a project management software. And if I could do some, that thing integrates with Zapier really well. But if I could use Comet to kind of integrate some of those workflows, it'd be a game changer. It would be a complete and total game changer for us. Maybe some of the CRM stuff that we do, because CRMs seem to be a little slow integrating some of this stuff too.
Right.
I mean, their whole thing is information and data, and they want to protect their data, and I get it.
Yep.
All right, so let's talk about real quick. We're going to wrap up with part 1. We're definitely going to have a part 2. Who knows about a part 3? Basically, what we talked about today was what is agentic AI, and agentic AI. Just think of it. Tim gave you his explanation. But up until this point, before agentic AI, we were doing things like, write this email, summarize this document, what's happening in my market. Agentic now is allowing you to have different apps, more steps. It's working in the background. It's not reliant on you to do this. And you're going to be able to do things at a much higher level, quicker pace. And so that you can remember, we're systemizing the predictable, as Gino Wickman says, systemizing the predictable. So Tim can talk about that tip of the spear, so you can humanize the exceptional. And that's the whole thing. We're not trying to remove you from the client. We are trying to open up space and time and efficiency so you can humanize that experience even more.
Bam.
Right. And so then we talked about those 3 roles, and then there's a 4th optional one that we'll probably get into the next episode. The office assistant, the builder, and then the research and strategist. We covered the office assistant and the research strategist. We'll talk about the builder next. And just tune in next week for part 2 of building your AI tech stack.
Yeah, good.
All right, bud. Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
The Trust Factor podcast is available wherever you get your podcasts. You can even watch us on YouTube.
And subscribe to the channel so you can comment and drop your questions and share it with your team.